Liberation greetings to all and sundry. My dear brave warriors of the Ambazonian Liberation Movement, accept greetings from me today, Comrade John Akuro, and today is January 19, 2023. Today is Thursday. My people, I come here today to share a very important message with all of us. I think at this stage where we are in this liberation movement, where a lot of things are moving now extremely fast, we have to be wise. We have to continue to educate the people around us because the times are hard. The times ahead are critical. And especially, unlike all of us who are already firm believers in the liberation, the total freedom of Ambazonia, of the southern Cameroons, to bear this eternal truth in mind, that all those of our brethren who are still dreaming and thinking of a one Cameroon, what they deserve from us is continuous education. We have to continually make them understand the perils that await them if they continue to stand on the wrong side of history. My people of Ambazonia, I come here today to draw our attention to a few things that happened lately and we could just, see them pass. I like to say it here loud and clear that truth has a very dazzling way of overcoming all the time. A lie can begin its journey around the world and go almost 3/4 of that journey while truth is still lacing its shoes. But when truth takes off, the truth will end up prevailing. The truth would always end up arriving before the lies complete their cycle. And this is very true in everything that we do in this life. One way or the other, the truth comes out. We can see the total confusion that is reigning in the camp of the enemy right now. This should be a pointer to us. You see, those among us who decided to cooperate with La République du Cameroun rather than stand strong with us, those among us who decided rather to be infiltrators in our midst, those who decided to be La République du Cameroun's telltales or call them spies in our midst, are today coming to the very strong realization that La République du Cameroun remains an evil fire. That the fire you see in the CPDM emblem is real. It's real, it's not fictional fire. It's real. So my people, we should continue to tell these our brothers and sisters that there is no point giving in their lives to waste. Now take a look at this. Because the government of La République generally believes in divide and rule, what do? They make sure that even among those that they take over, that are called blacklegs, they themselves call themselves that name, they call it the Blacklegs Kingdom or the Association of Blacklegs. Listen, they are now in total disarray because of the divide and rule tactic of La République du Cameroun. Because in the system of La République du Cameroun, which is so heavily divided, I've said that here over and over, each faction has its own blacklegs. And now there's a clash of blacklegs. And when there is a clash of blacklegs, the truth begins to be spilled out. Sometimes we get so distraught, so disgruntled, so angry at some people at the betrayal that we saw them show on us, to the point where when they speak, sometimes we decide to just trash them. But take note, even a mad person, in all what they say, they may be inarticulate, but listen carefully, you may pick up something. So recently, we have seen success in Congo. I rather prefer to call it sometimes failure in Congo, in a serious exchange of barbs with Clovis Nasseri. And of course, it finally graduated from being just barbs between success in Congo, Nkonda Titus, or failure in Congo, Nkonda Titus, and Clovis Nasseri, to now balance on the exchange of barbs between Nkongo failure and the Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic of La République du Cameroon, who definitely has proxy in the Black Leg Kingdom. And when this clash is going on, listen attentively. If you take your time to listen to him, not because you trust in him that he can tell you something serious, but because you want to understand exactly how the evil system of La République du Cameroon has functioned, you will come away from there with a lot of knowledge. And it will help each and every one of us to corroborate and understand a message I have passed here constantly, day in, day out, trying to draw the attention of our people of Ambazonia to the effect that there was some massive evil which was planned and all the details outlined at the home of Tanyi Mbianyo Clarkson. He's from Manu County. Congo is from Manu County. That is where this whole thing was planned. That meeting was held at his home at Elever in Yaoundé. I did obtain the minutes of that meeting way back in 2018. It was the end of the year 2018. And I've been talking about this from time immemorial. I mean, right from that moment to this day. To alert the hearts and minds and functioning brains of our people to be critical in addressing certain issues that are happening on ground zero. The game plan was to turn the people against their own liberation movement by hiring people who will infiltrate the ranks of our brave hearts, and their specialization will be to commit all kinds of exactions on our people. And this will be imputed on our brave hearts, on the voices in the bushes. And consequent on that, it will create a rift between the local population, which is supposed to be their first line of defense, and our brave hearts. And that will provide the ideal opportunity, therefore, that in every community, even right in the villages, the dogs of La République du Cameroon will be as short of blacklegs, who will be angry, that's how they call them, who call themselves, who will be angry and ready to betray because they are convinced that those particular voices in the bushes are the ones committing exactions against them. Don't make a mistake to think that I'm exonerating all the voices in the bushes, even the genuine ones, from some of those acts. There definitely are always those who will get misled. And some of them certainly got misled by the exactions and actions of these infiltrators. And they felt this could be an opportunity once in a while to get the means to continue fighting. So therefore, at that meeting at Minister Tanyi Mbianyo Clarkson's house, it was agreed they were going to bring boys even all the way from Nigeria. Has it changed? Don't you see that in Indian, right now as I speak, there are over 100 Bayelsa boys. After the first batch was chased away, now they discovered that they couldn't hold the forte. They decided again to bring in, and the general manager of PAMO doing that, another 100 Bayelsa boys into Indian County. They did before bring some even from afar that they infiltrated in our various counties and local government areas. And these people had the singular mission of committing horrible atrocities. The objective was threefold. Number one, turn the population against the voices in the bushes. Number two, kill the spirit of liberation, the spirit of freedom. Kill the thirst and the quest for independence in the hearts and minds of the people by making them feel that staying with La République could be better. Because if the kind of things that they are seeing now is what they are going to see in a free Ambazonia, it means life will be worse than with La République du Cameroon. And the third objective was to cause the international community to declare Ambazonia a terrorist organization. And then we will all be outlawed, and then there will be an international manhunt for all of us. Unfortunately, the international community has known the government of Mr. Paul Biya for a long time. Don't forget, he has been in power for 40 years and counting. And so they had known that it is a rogue government, with successive reports getting out of that country from diplomats daily on the mode of operation of La République du Cameroon. You look at someone like Atanga Ponji, diplomatic cables have it that sometimes he even set up people at the behest of the government to either have them run out on self-exile or have them executed doing the dirty jobs of the government. I told a story here once of how Atanga Ponji organized with the mortuary attendants at a hospital in Yaoundé and got a corpse from the mortuary, a corpse that was fresh from being placed in the mortuary. The family never even knew that their corpse had been removed, and took it and dumped it in the yard of this particular individual. I won't call his name. That individual until today is on exile, has never put foot back, has never placed his feet back in Cameroon. They placed that corpse there. After planting it, they now sent security forces out there to decide to raid every home in that neighborhood. And in this man's compound, the corpse was discovered. This man himself was embarrassed and shocked. But how could he explain? Of course, a cockroach can never be declared innocent in a gathering of fowls. So that is how they started complicating this man's life. Detain him, release him. Detain him, release him. And when they saw that he was struggling to make papers to run away from the country from a distance, Atanga Ponji and his men facilitated it, because their objective was to get him out of the way. And of course, they did succeed. So I'm saying this just so that you know the kind of persons that are in that system. And diplomatic cables have this information. So when you have a gang of criminals running a country, they can never convince anybody anywhere. Their checks internationally can never be taken to any bank, because 99 of the checks out of 100 will bounce. The government of La République du Cameroon excels basically in make-believe. They never resolve any issue, and they are known like that across the world. So therefore, when you listen to Success in Congo, let me call him by his name, jokes aside, when you listen to Success in Congo, pick out the key things. One, who was responsible for the demise of Florence Ayafo? The truth is beginning to spill out. But they said at the time, and tried to convince the international community, that it were the voices in the bushes. Oh yes, they did that. Whereas these were agents hired by Atanga Ponji, supported and sponsored by the system, and dispatched to go and commit this exaction on Florence Ayafo in Pinyin. And you know what they did to cover up? To make sure that none of those who were involved ever have the opportunity to see anything anywhere. They organized the mass massacre of over 20 boys, you recall, in Pinyin. Those were the people they sent to do not just that dirty job, several other dirty jobs. All these people were on the payroll of Fu Jonathan Mejingni, Atanga Ponji, and the Dia system. Today you are hearing Nkongo Success tell you about it. Don't think he is stupid or is a fool. He knows it. And he knows that that system is already after him. So Nkongo Success is coming out public just so that if anything happens to him, they should know that Ngongo is at the origin and that the Cameroon government is at the origin. That is why he's telling all of those things and even claiming that he has audio tapes, but he's keeping them. Listen, my people of Ambazonia, don't let this kind of truths fly over your heads. Collect them. Because these are facts that we have spoken about before, and people doubted the authenticity. No one in the world doubts that Reverend Charles Wesco in Bambi was brought down by Mr. Paul Biya's thugs for the same objective, to provoke the United States of America to anger Washington, so that Washington should turn against Ambazonians and the leadership of our liberation movement in the United States. But they failed to understand that the United States of America is not a country that rushes to stupid conclusions. They conduct due diligence, and they did find out. And today, they have a clear report of who exactly was involved. Next, they felt that it was not enough. They needed to shock the community the more. They got into the school in Kumba. And we all know what happened. Cut short the lives of almost 9 students in broad daylight. Of course, you hear Success Nkongo ask the question to Ngongo. Because when we said it before, people said, oh, they're just making noise. And they even went ahead and arrested some innocent boys who never even knew each other. Arrested them separately and claimed that they acted in coaction to commit that atrocity. And they are languishing at the prisons in Boya. But today, Success Nkongo, who is one of them, who has operated with them, who knows everything that they are doing because they were all working together, he cannot exonerate himself. Today he is talking. I often ask the question, how does Nkonda Titus, who is supposed to be living in the United Kingdom, how is he always the first to have images and information about atrocious acts supposedly carried out by the voices in the bushes, by Amber Boys? How? He is not part of our liberation movement, which means he should not have any connection with those who are fighting to liberate Ambazonia. How then will he be the first, even before those who are inside the movement, even who are commanders-in-chief of some of those groups? How comes Nkonda Titus will not only know, but have the images and the details and everything minutes after those things happen? I asked this question before. Today, Nkongo Success is connecting the dots so that you understand. After what happened in Kumba, the regime was frustrated, very frustrated, that even that horrible action at the school in Kumba did not irritate the international community enough to declare Ambazonia a terrorist organization. They were frustrated that it did not irritate the great people of the great county of Meme enough so that they begin turning their backs against the Monday Ghost Towns, that they turned their backs against our liberation movement. Angered by that, they moved to Ndian, and we all heard that the school where the horrible exactions were carried against pupils in Ndian, including a teacher whose life was cut short, that area where it happened, the military base was just a few yards away, and the school had generally been guarded, perhaps except on that day. Yet, La République du Cameroon wanted to give to understand that Amber Boys were able to find their way into the place and had hours of operation, and all disappeared. Until today, they never succeeded in tracking down one person. Today, Success Nkongo is connecting those dots too. So therefore, my people, I have said it and I repeat here over and over. You have been angered. You have been very disappointed because you were a strong supporter of this liberation movement, and then your family member was kidnapped for ransom. La République du Cameroon's proxy militia in the bushes were specialized in getting information sent to them by their agents based abroad about those who are die-hard supporters and contributors to the liberation movement and sponsors to the liberation movement. And so in turn, they had to identify their family members, pick them up, ask for heavy ransoms, so that at the end of the day, you are ejected out of the liberation movement. You get so disappointed and you don't want to hear anything again about Ambazonia. They succeeded with a few and failed with a huge number who withdrew but found time to sit down and search their consciences and tell themselves it is important to go back and fight. Let us share this thought by Thomas Paine at this point. Thomas Paine says, I prefer peace, but if trouble must come, let it come in my time, so that my children can live in peace. Does this ring a bell? That is why the late barrister Bernard Muna said it, that I am 77 years old. My future is behind me. I may die tomorrow, and of course he eventually died. The future is theirs, referring to the youth, referring to us. Let them fight. Let them bloody fight for their future. I have said, this has to continue to be the rallying cry for our liberation movement. You see, those old people, just as old as Atanga Ponji, those old people, as old as Atanga Ponji, who are in La République du Cameroon and supporting that system against their own people. Listen to me carefully. A good lot of them are nonagenarians. A good lot of them are octogenarians. A good lot of them are above 70. But these are people who have decided that foresight is not part of their business. They care about today and now. That is why they are ready to sacrifice each and every one of us until they attain their objective. That is why they are determined that we will know no peace. That is why they are determined that there is no way we will go anywhere at all, anywhere, because their what should I say? Their objective right now is they eat, they get all the goodies, everything, to the point where the children, the children will end up with nothing. The children will end up suffering by themselves. The children will end up facing very unacceptable lives for the simple reason that right now they consider that after them it should be chaos. That is the problem that we are facing right now. That is the issue at stake. And so therefore, my people of Ambazonia, when you look at them in their huge numbers, they come and all they do, they struggle to bribe you. They struggle to give you little goodies here and there and tell you that all you need to do is betray your brothers and sisters to perpetuate their stay in power. But they forget to understand that they are second-class citizens. They forget to understand that nobody, just a moment, that nobody will ever, nobody will ever come to do what you're supposed to do in your place. Don't tell me that let the consequences take care of themselves. No. When the consequences begin to take care of themselves, you won't know where to place your head. Therefore, my people, remember always that in La République du Cameroon, you are considered a subhuman. Remember always, recall always that in La République du Cameroon, you will never be given equal rights as a citizen. Now, let me prove it. Take a look at this. Abdul Karim Ali is at the moment I'm talking, receiving all manner of torture in the dungeons of La République du Cameroun just for speaking out. I mean, just for speaking out. That is why you see the English language press across the board in La République du Cameroun. They are so suppressed to the point where they can only report things that will please the government regarding this liberation movement. When they take the slightest risk, freedom to do journalism, the hammer comes heavily on them. Yet, look at the French language newspapers. They can do and say anything and go with it. I want to go back to the case of Comrade Abdul Karim Ali. Look at, there is Mr. Usman May. I broadcast his communication here on this platform. He came out and said the northern regions were getting ready both militarily and by all other means to make sure that they have access to power. By all means, he threatened, he said clear. Whatever happened to him? Has Mr. Usman May ever even been questioned? Even once? No. No. He's not alone. Watch Vision Card. Watch Canal 2. Watch Equinox and listen to the panelists. Listen to what they say. Listen to the kind of language they use in describing that government. Can anyone of linguist extraction try that? 1 feet of that and you are in jail. Why? Because you are not considered as bona fide citizens. Let me put it again this way so you understand better. When you and I travel to a foreign country, and then you are allowed to live in that country, they give you the rules and regulations to observe as a foreigner. 1, you don't get involved in local politics. That's number 1. You don't get involved in local politics. Number 2, watch your tongue. There's freedom of speech and freedom of expression, but yours is limited because you don't really belong fully. And if you come in as a refugee, it's even worse. You have a lot of clauses that you sign to. On a good lot of things you have to abstain from. That is how the lives of Southern Cameroonians within La République du Cameroun system are. You are foreigners. While the true bona fide citizens of La République du Cameroun, be them journalists or otherwise, are allowed the freedom to say whatever they like and go with it, don't dare. If you try, you will be in for a very nasty surprise. My people of Ambazonia, and never miss the least opportunity to bring this to our knowledge, because they say knowledge is power. And that is why it is important for us, therefore, to continue to capitalize on the gains we have made and make sure we resolve this Ambazonian question in our lifetimes. It must not be pushed to our children. I like peace, but if there must be trouble, let it be now, so that I can address it and be sure that my children will live in peace. That should be our thought. That should be our mantra. That should be the guiding principle in everything that we say and do. Now you know that La République du Cameroun will continue to commit horrible exactions on our territory just to turn you against your own freedom, against your own aspirations. These revelations must be taken seriously for what they are. And therefore, we all have to become extremely alert. We must be very alert because, my people, the days ahead are going to be very critical. And we as a people must make sure that we continue to stand firm and strong for what we believe in. Continue to ignore all those town criers within our liberation movement who have made it their own point of duty that they will never come out with anything to focus on La République du Cameroun. That their focus will only be on trying to mudsling or sabotage other comrades within the liberation movement. Anytime you see those things, trash them. Some of them don't even know that they are useful idiots in the hands of La République du Cameroon. They think they are fighting for power. They think they are fighting for prominence. They think that they are fighting for relevance. But at the end of the day, they are doing the bidding of La République du Cameroon without knowing. My people of Ambazonia, we must continue to be vigilant because this liberation movement is ours to lose. I've always been confident of victory. And I am indeed, even as I speak, more confident than ever before that we will check La République du Cameroon out of our territory and take off the last vestiges of colonial domination in our land. To God be the glory.